Daniel Craig. It's not like I want to have sex with Daniel Craig. I just like to sit on his lap.
Do you think he would be kind enough to come out wearing a white beard and pretend he's Father Christmas for you?
I think he would.
Maybe that's what you're looking for.
No, what are we talking about? We're talking about drugs, and it's quite important. Yes, when you're on drugs, Jonathan, may I say, it's an awful, horrible business, but it makes your life simpler. If you've got no sense of purpose or no sense of reason, sometimes you're thinking, oh, what is it I want? What is it I'm missing? If you're a heroin addict, you go, oh, yeah, it's heroin that I'm missing, because it's like you really want some.
And when you're doing it, I guess you don't question those things anymore. You're in this woozy state of, ooh.
Yeah, not quite like that.
Well,
oh, blimey, the heroin.
I'm assuming it is kind of like, but you walk into things and stuff, don't you?
I've seen the heroin.
But you are a bit like that. I used to go, oh, what's that on the TV? It's an orange. Isn't there stuff like that?
No, not really.
What is it?
Unless there was an orange on the TV, I don't know what.
So can you still see and hear things like quite normally?
Yeah, quite normally, a lot more relaxed, a lot more snug and comfy, but ultimately awful.
Do you miss them? Have you now replaced that with something else, or is it something you have to struggle with? Is it something you feel like you're missing out on and that, given the wrong situation, you would fall back into?
I'm trying to find spiritual enlightenment in order that we might have a revolution, a spiritual revolution. So at the moment, I'm all right. I do miss drugs and sex a bit, but I think a spiritual utopia, it should be better. I met this Swami once. He looked at me with God in his eyes. He looked like there was nothing you could say to him that would make him go, oh, bloody hell. He was really... He seemed at peace with himself. Like you when you're on your imaginary heroin, he was.
Are you a spiritual person then? I know you're searching for it. Are you a religious person? Have you found a faith that suits you yet, that speaks to you?
I'm spiritual. I think I want to discover love within all people. Because everyone's a little bit beautiful, aren't they, really? You know, if you're angry with someone, you think, oh, they used to be a little baby. Then just give them a cuddle.
You should think that.
Breastfeed them. That'll show them.
That would cut down on road rage for a start, wouldn't it?
Yeah, next time someone cuts you up, just say, come here, you silly sod, and pop them on the breast.
OK, let me ask you about your performing, about on stage, on screen. Firstly, when you do your stand-up, because, like the book itself, which is blisteringly honest in a good way, on stage you also talk pretty honestly. Do you edit at all? What do you cut out? I know you make it funny, but are there bits where you think, oh, no, that would be too far, I can't talk about that, or is everything fair game?
Anything about myself I think is all right. If anything's hurtful about another person, then I think, oh, you probably shouldn't say that, because you need to work on why you feel this negative thing towards another person. But anything about me, I think, be honest about it, because then you can understand it and explore it a little further. It's good, I think, to be honest with people, because then I think we'll learn more and more that we're all similar and we shouldn't feel embarrassed or ashamed about anything.
Well, so it's a saving grace. So then when you feel people are judging you harshly, for example, if you get
I'll smack him right in the fucking mouth. You fucking mug. Yeah, come on. I'll fucking strike ya.
Can I just say that's the least convincing hard man
How dare you!
That was pathetic,
It was scary. Wasn't it menacing? Yeah. They was menaced.
It was like being mugged by Doc Cotton and you know it. Right, can I ask you, before we have a look at you live on stage, in the book as well, you mentioned the fact that in one phase of your life, your hair, a remarkable construction as it is, indeed, you had a mouse living in your hair.
Yeah. There was a mouse living in there for a brief time. Elvis was his name. Okay. Not innately, I gave that name to him. Yeah. He didn't arrive and say, oh, ha, ha. He lived there for a while, about a month.
Hold on, when you say he lived there, though, OK, you encouraged him...
he existed.
No, but you let him move in, or you found him there a couple of times, or what? He was actually living, sleeping, eating in your head?
He did everything in there. They're incontinent. I know, but remember, I was on drugs at the time. You don't care about mouse poo so much when you want heroin.
Why did you let the mouse live in your head when you could have removed the mouse and thrown him back to the wild?
Because he didn't come from the wild. I got him in a pet shop and I thought it would be breaking the contract to just throw him like
so
that.
So you bought the mouse with the intention of letting him live in your hair?
That was always the plan.
Why?
I thought it'd be nice to have him there. I like them cartoons where there's a devil on one shoulder, angel on the other shoulder, giving you information. I thought, I can't get that, I'll just have a mouse in my hair.
But that's merely an illustration of what's meant to be going on inside.
Yeah, well, defy that, is what I say. If the logical world brings us war and disharmony and pain, then live in an unusual way for a bit of a laugh. Get a mouse in your hair.
Let's have a look at Russell. This is Russell Brand in action. The DVD is called... What's it called? It's...
Doing Life. Are you all right? That's his full zip gone.
The DVD is called Doing Life. Now, why is it called Doing Life? What's the thinking behind that?
The thinking behind that, Jonathan, is we all live in the prison of our own minds and consciousness. You're not going to put this bit in the show if you're fucked off over there.
No, it's just a shot of you. Be professional. I'm rescuing.
I didn't say nothing interesting there. That gives you the insight into what makes me tick.
I know.
This is what makes me tick.
It's the same old yabba yabba blah blah drugs mouse. Carry on. I'm going to get this sorted.
That's essentially my autobiography. Don't bother reading it. Blah blah drugs mouse. That's my book.
It's still a good read. So, why is it called Doing Life, Russell Brand?
Because we're all in prison within the confines of our own mind, Jonathan, and we can only find liberty when we find spiritual freedom within ourselves and connect with other people through love.
But why is it called Doing Life?
I don't know.
Here's Russell, live on stage, doing his stand-up comedy.
Doing life, doing bird, a bit of a stretch, know what I mean? Did you feel menaced?
Yeah.
You was menaced.
It's like, you know what you're like? It's like the Hofmeister bear.
Were you
it's as
menaced?
scary as that.
They're menaced.
They would be menaced by the mouse coming out of your back of your Amy Winehouse beehive. Okay. This is Russell Brand live on stage.
Banned cleric used council building for sermons of hatred. Oh, it's got heavy. Right. We all knew we were on thin ice when this began. The unthinkable has happened. We're doing a live DVD and we're going into the not altogether comfortable terrain of 9/11. Right. Now, I've been involved in this before. When I sort of a little bit accidentally went dressed to work on September the 12th, 2001 in a costume that can only be described as Osama bin Laden-esque. Somebody may have been distracted by that falling debris. Is that a good sign from God, do you think? That the heavens have opened and things are now tumbling? That, for me, is God, Allah, Buddha, all of them going, "Go on, son!" Use truth as a kind of sex sword. Okay, guys. If you're real, that is, which I doubt. Not you, Christian God.
Russell Brand, Doing Life. That's the DVD. Before we part company, and we have Daniel Craig waiting to come out here.
It's a shame that when I go back in there, he's got to come out, because that will prevent us from having a terribly awkward moment on a settee.
I'm hoping there'll be a somewhat kind of awkward handshake as you go past each other.
He ain't going to want to touch these now, is he? I'm going to give him such a cuddle, that bloody man.
Join the queue.
He's lovely.
He is lovely.
I'll talk to him, he's all gentle and nice and lovely.
Yeah.
He's like a lovely, sort of sexy dad or something.
Russell, how lovely to have you back on the show. Mr. Russell Brand, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
How's the father? Well done, great stuff. Russell Brand, again. Blimey. OK, let's watch Russell and Daniel. Here we go.
Where is he?
Daniel's gone out the back door.
Oh, he did, then. Daniel.
Shall we do him a favour and get my next guest straight out?